following material may contain sex, coarse language, and violence.
I do have to admit, he's a better engineer than I'll ever be. But he can't swim.
And he probably couldn't fit into all of the engineering places.
I'm not an engineer. I'm a diver.
You want to know what he discussed with us?
That's none of my concern.
Okay, well, related to Stephanie, so...
He told the kid to back off.
I see. I apologize. He has no business interfering in your personal romance.
It's okay, I'm already seeing someone else. But I plan to remain a friend with Stephanie because we do share a lot of interests and have a lot in common, so...
I see. Well, I'm sure it's none of my business.
Any friend of Stephanie's, I would like to extend her to be a friend of mine. I realize I can't just do that, but...
Indeed you cannot.
Right, let's carry on.
Oh, it's the cargo hold.
Well, let's find those crates.
There's a bunch of nomads over there. They've got those crates open again. They turn around, and there's like a big black guy, and he's just like... Oh, and he's like, we have permission to approach. Excellent.
Okay.
What have you found, Beefus?
You're not gonna like this, Food.
Of course there's food.
Empty chip bags. Fake Newtons. The food of sneaking!
Of course. Why is it the food of sneaking?
No crunch.
It's true, Fig Newton's the ultimate stakeout food.
What else have you got?
This is how they got in, I think. Hide in here. Look.
I'm completely oblivious to whatever you're pointing out. Oh, my manners. NCPD officers Vincent Straker and John Barrows. They are investigating the disappearance.
Not disappearance. Abduction!
He is
Kidnapping.
correct.
This is our Chief of Security, Beefus.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Beefus.
I'm sorry for the poor impression of our predecessors.
You were doing an impression?
No, I'm sorry for the cops who came before.
Thieves. Thieves, I say.
Possibly. Well, let's have a look around.
Careful, you will disturb the evidence.
Well, you were just pointing some things out. Do you mind explaining those to us? You seem to have a good eye for it.
Wear marks?
Here, hair strands caught in the fiber. Why? Leaning, resting. This here, you see the ring on the floor? You see the little holes there? An air tank, so they can breathe. Screwed in. How do I know? That ring there matches the same kind of tanks we use for long deployment. Reserve air. Get about 6 hours.
6 hours.
Would have stood this tall. They come in black and grey. The grey ones are overpressurized. They're not so good. They damage your hoses more.
So the tank wasn't in here.
They took it with them. They tried to take all of the evidence, but there's still a few traces. One of them was a smoker. See?
Wish we were forensics, kid.
Yeah.
There's no one we can...
I'll take a photo of at least of the Indian side of the container in general.
You don't happen to have anyone on board who's good at forensics or science? Collection of evidence? Or...
Of course we do. It's our job.
Of course.
It's what we're good at.
Could we employ you to assist us in this matter?
You can.
Excellent.
One thing we'd like those hair strands in the little bag so we can take them back for analyzing.
I have sent for a kit.
Thank you.
We'll have to go back and get a sample of that blood. Check the room again.
A guy dressed like Horatio Hornblower arrives. Never fear, never fear. I am here. Oh, thank God you're here. We have not entered at all. The evidence is preserved. Of course it is, of course it is. And who are these charming gentlemen?
Straker NCPD.
John Barrows, NCPD.
Of course, my name remains a mystery, but it is a pleasure to meet both of you.
You as
Also a
well.
pleasure.
He puts his tri-corner hat back.
So you're the man of the hour, then. You collect evidence for us.
Whenever there is a mystery to be solved, my diligence is unsurpassed and my observational skills are as keen as my rapier wit.
You must be busy in Night City, then.
Fortunately for me, we do not stay long, and I remain on the boat. But when there is a crime involving the family, you can be sure my bloodhound's nose starts twitching. Now, if you will excuse me, gentlemen.
Of course.
Thank you. Harmony, will you be able to find out who loaded this aboard and where it came from?
I already know.
Oh,
We loaded aboard from the docks.
I see. And I suppose you did from there. You would deal with the dockmaster at Night City in order to. He would be verifying the right cargo to bring aboard, or is that done internally?
Actually, most of our supplies and other dealings are done through Rankin.
So you work on the docks.
Ranchin. Joe Ranchin. He is one of the owners of Ranchin and Crank. They're a salvage company here, but we have tight dealings with them, so they arrange for our supplies and we pay through them.
Do they have an office on the docks?
Yes, indeed.
Of course.
It is one of the few non-dilapidated buildings.
We'll make it easy to find. We'll talk with them as well.
I'm sure they wouldn't have had anything directly to do with it.
No, but they may have information. Anything to help. We're leaving no stone unturned.
Very well, but please be aware that we consider Ranchin and Crank to be an extension of our family.
Of course. We'll treat them with all due respect.
You right there, Ken?
So good. It didn't hit me until I wrote it in. The reference.
It's a reference to Ocarina of Time.
And not Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, actually. It's a reference to Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie.
As long as it's not nuts and bolts.
Yeah. No, why would it be? Still, Nuts and Bolts was a better game than Daikatana.
There we go! My mouth remained zipped, even though it wasn't said I couldn't mention it in this game.
Just getting in practice, huh, so you don't fuck up.
I'm gonna have to get a big note or a big neon sign. Don't talk about the game.
I wish I was better at Welcome to the Game, but I'm not. Like being really still and quiet is really, really hard when it's listening to you.
Yeah.
And you have to turn the microphone. You can't just unplug the microphone because you got to play the game as it was intended. That's cheaty.
That's why you can't play Alien Isolation with friends, because all friends are assholes and will get you killed.
Yeah, it's also why you can't play Portal 2 with friends because they're children.
Oh, so he's the Brandon of your group then.
What, the one who puts the portal over the lava or into the
Or
turret?
suddenly-
Who deliberately actuates the cube to squish you.
With the many other various ways
You
can
fucking
create
little
your friends.
R2-D2 ball, motherfucker. I'm just trying for us to win and succeed, and you're just like, oh, I wonder what I can do to be a cunt.
That is exactly what Brandon does. So we'll let this mysterious fellow collect up the evidence. Point out for him anything he hasn't picked up we expressly want, like tobacco, stain.
Hair strands. Oh, yes, gold mines. Little gold mines of identification.
Or they would be if they weren't tech here.
I had a suspicion about that.
It's still traceable.
Yeah,
it
even
just
tech here is-
doesn't have DNA. But I can isolate the manufacturer quite easily. Rest assured, gentlemen, I will be able to give you a list of places it was purchased, and if I'm very, very lucky I might have a root follicle, then I can probably narrow it down to a specific ripper.
Excellent.
Yes, I rather am, aren't I? Oh, would you like a cigarette?
I'm fine.
They're pure candy.
Why not?
They're candy cigarettes, you eat them. Because of course you can't smoke down here.
That's why I refused. I always thought about it. I'm like, no way.
Never say no to candy from strange. I'm not going to finish that.
Quite right.
Any dirt or stones or anything left on the bottom?
There's a little, but it's, I don't rate it as significantly different enough to be able to identify anything. I'd say it's boot dust. Well, I think you'll find it's from the docks.
We'll collect it anyway. You never know.
As you wish.
There was, also up in the room that, Stephanie was taken from, there was some blood.
I already have it.
Oh, excellent. Got a match on it yet?
Yes, indeed.
Stephanie's.
It belongs to one Stephanie Richard.
So they did still hurt her somewhat.
Of course.
Probably in the struggle.
Of course.
It belonged to one Stephanie Richard, of course.
Oh, right. Sorry, it just sounded like you were about to go into something else.
Nonsense.
Awesome.
Nothing suspicious here.
Well, it's not likely she'd go down without a fight.
No, that's probably why this blood. They would have probably preferred to take her.
No. She would, not.
There was the sleep grenade fragments we found.
If it were anyone else, I'd probably bet on her.
These men believe that Adam Smasher may also be involved. What are the odds of there being two incredibly armored up Borgs like that involved in the same crime? Who has the kind of money to employ two people like that? That's my thought. But they are adamant. Then I think perhaps, instead of being ashamed, we should count ourselves deeply lucky that we only lost so few as we did.
I'm curious.
I don't like hearing that. Too bad. You've got to listen.
Curious how many of the other women when they were taken had Adam Smasher involved, because all these were taken on the same night.
Busy man.
Yeah.
Well, though were the two places you would need him. Sea nomad ship and corporate security. The good stuff.
It's a shame we can't, deal with some of the other teams. It'd be interesting to know the time frames each of the women were taken.
We'll deal with that later. You're right, though. You are lucky. It wouldn't be beyond him to toss a mini-nuke behind his shoulder as he left and sink the whole ship.
Even mini nukes cost. This is already a really well-funded operation.
10,000 eddies of hardware used in just one incident. If this wasn't such a stealth operation, they'd have used more here. They got past your heavy weapons. Saved them a pretty penny.
Did Stephanie... What time did this occur again?
I don't know, like 4 in the morning.
Okay, so she's more often than not staying on the ship at that time.
Whenever she is in Night City and we are, we extend her the courtesy of a berth. It is because we are friends.
Of course.
And now it has cost us. And her.
It's not over yet.
This is galling.
Wait, what time was the cargo brought on board?
Would have been sometime during the night, early night, between 9 and 11.
So they sat there. Well, you did say 6 hours of air.
That's enough time.
But that does mean that all those women were taken that night. And there's a whole period from like 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 7 whole hours just dedicated to this operation. And that's not including them sorting out getting onto the crate before they were even loaded on.
That is a lot of time.
So one can assume that there was at least an hour or two before that dedicated to getting the crate sorted out, the cargo sorted out, boarding it, getting the gear ready.
Mm-hmm. Very likely.
That's especially true if...
So that's 9 hours, but yet they still took Lisa, and they still took Candace.
Many of the teams didn't have any heavy hitters comparable to this one and the one that took Candace. I think it was Candace was the one that was Adam was supposedly seen. Oh, Lisa.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it was apparently there for at least all 3, and then who knows how many of the other women we don't even know about.
If it's any help to you at all, there's no way anyone that big was in this container.
So they had another way to get him on.
That's why he was further away.
Well, he came from the front.
Yeah. So the others got on board and then sent some kind of signal. He was probably dealing with the other woman and then got the signal to get on board.
I'm about to ask, and I think I already know the answer. Any other ships or buildings nearby with surveillance?
Yes.
And they were functional?
No. In fact, the wharf-front security cameras had all been disabled, and one wharf-front security guard was found dead with his head twisted around.
So that's how he got in. At least you didn't have to worry about having him on the ship all that time.
That would be quite alarming.
I don't think he's one to sit
Also,
still.
stealth doesn't really seem like the style I've heard about.
Or maybe even his capability. Right, we have some other matters to see to on the dock. How long do you think you'll need to process this, the hair fibers and the tobacco?
Couple of days.
Wait a minute. Does their ship have lifting cranes themselves, or do they use dock ones to get stuff on?
As a rescue ship, they do have their own lifting cranes, but they also will use dockside ones. Depending on the size of what's going on, because they have to be able to lift submarines in and out of the water. They might need to be able to hold up another ship that's floundering. So they do have their own.
Vincent will go, they hold him up on one of your cranes. That's why you didn't detect any ship scraping or anything else. These men, when they were already aboard, got off, hold Adam Smasher up on a crane from a boat or something off the ship. Your things are designed to pull up submarines and other heavy things. They could easily pull up Adam Smasher if those cranes weren't guarded.
Any of the cranes have an access log? I'll check them out. One moment. Okay, that's being done.
Could we get a copy of the manifest just for these crates specifically?
Certainly.
Thanks. We'll help us out a lot. Look, I'll turn to forensics guy. The precinct's gonna want samples as well to do their own stuff with.
I can certainly arrange to divide them.
Thanks.
If this pans out, how complicated are your cranes to use?
How many a child could use them?
Right. Your land types might need about half an hour of instruction to become truly proficient.
So somebody
Actual skilled mastery of them will take longer, but basic use.
Up and down would be easy, especially if you have experience with any other kind of heavy machinery.
Will we also have to swing them onto the deck?
You could easily get access to a construction crane around the city for practice.
If they're
If
similar, yeah.
you've got the kind of money they've got.
The point is, there's at least somebody in that group who got smuggled aboard. If they did use that, who knows how to use that machinery?
Mm.
It's not a super commonly known skill.
We'll note it down.
Hmm.
I think we're finding more here than I expected.
Which is
Good.
unlike our predecessors, we tried. Okay, time's a factor. We have to work out when there's going to be a point where we run dry here, and we have to start hunting down this this company, this Ranchin and Crank.
They're just over there.
Hmm.
I can take you to them right now.
If you wouldn't
Sure.
mind while you're
Certainly.
while you're fighting that forensic stuff there.
Certainly. Come with me.
Thank you. You're the most helpful, Harmony. I realize you have a personal stake in this, but still.
Would you do less?
Of course not, that's why I'm here.
We only wish we could do more.
We all wish we could do more. Lead up with the thing. We are disembarking, she says to the barrel-chested guy. He's like,
Thank you for your hospitality.
he'll pipe you ashore.
Hmm.
Or pipe her ashore mainly, but you're going to.
What is the deal with the pipes?
So everyone knows. It's also honor and respect.
You have to forgive me. I only really dealt with land nomads in my time. Well, my younger years.
Land nomads are weird, right?
I like their sense of style.
Yeah, sorry.
Putting my hat back on as we get off the ship.
I think I stepped on board the deck too early on the way out. Apologies.
Well, it is disrespectful, but we have also come to expect that from land dwellers.
Treated it like touching another nomad's ride.
It is a little bit like that.
I mean, no disrespect. It's my ignorance. I apologize.
You don't have to apologize for ignorance. You've learned. It is fine. A temporary annoyance is soon forgotten.
Well, lead the way.
She'll lead you like over there. Here's Ranch and Crank.
Or knock if that's it.
She'll just walk through the empty front office and just open a door and back like she owns the place.
Follow along.
Follow, yeah. I just kind of look a little awkward as I do, but then, yeah.
Ah. Hi, Harmony. Biscuit, how are you doing? These are policemen. I can totally tell. It's the badges and uniforms that gives them away. Well, like I said, that guy seems to be a Chief Avens reporter. Supporter.
Nah.
Biscuit. Sorry.
What can I do for you guys? They have questions.
Supplies provided to the ship.
You're gonna have to narrow that down for me.
We do have a copy of the manifest coming, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But they would have been loaded up the night before the night of the before the morning of the attack.
Oh, okay. Yep, I know the ones you're talking about. That is preserved foodstuffs for long voyages, mainly MREs. Yes, but we did not get meal ready to eat. We got boarding party ready to kidnap. What?
Yeah, just wondering how that happened.
I don't know. We didn't load it with a boarding party? Yes, people were hiding in the crates.
Top tier assassin types.
We didn't put them there.
I would like to hope not. Where are the crates stored before loading, and do you have a security camera or cameras in that area?
We did, but they stopped working like a week ago, and we haven't replaced them yet. But they're stored in like one of our two warehouses just out back and along some.
Is that all your security's down? Or just
Just the cameras.
Right. How far back can you trace where the supplies came from?
Pretty well, actually. We bought the meal ready to eat directly from Continental Brands. From their wholesaler here in Night City. Like everyone else. I've even got the invoice number right here.
Thanks. We'll take that.
what's the date on when that arrived?
Check that.
A couple months ago.
Couple months.
We store a lot of stuff.
So I don't think we have to go as far back as the supplier.
Warehouse 2 is the one filled with outgoings.
Right. We'll have
One is just filled with salvage.
If you don't mind, we'd like to have a look.
Uh,
I'm not sure what we would find, but you're welcome to join us.
Yeah. What security do you have going into warehouse 2?
There's a big lock and an electronic keypad.
Keypads might show signs of tampering if they had to get past it. They definitely didn't stay in the crates for months, so they definitely got in that night.
Windows?
No, it uses a Linux operating system.
No. Are there any windows in through the warehouse as well? Even those
no,
little
why would
up-
that need them?
Skylights?
Not so much skylights, but we have like some translucent panels that let sunlight in.
But they're not traditionally movable.
No.
Or openable. Right.
I suppose I have to go with you. No one else is available. Moving.
Sorry.
It is important.
Okay, let's go.
Lead the way.
Over there. Well, here it is. The warehouse stands slightly rusty and gloomily above you. It is a standard metal-sided corrugated thing with a roof.
Well,
2 big sliding doors, 1 small door meant for people in one of the doors. Here is said lock, and here is said keypad.
it all looks normal to you.
I mean, if you're telling me that all those MREs weren't in the crates, we're going to have to do a stock take. You know that, right? Ask me if I care. Well, it's just going to take a long time. It is also possible that they stole that so that there wouldn't be any errors. I can't rely on that.
Well, we might find something useful if you do track them down. If they handled them, we might find something.
That's a good point. If the food was originally in there when it arrived, it had to have gone somewhere.
Do you mind if I check this keypad and that
Sure.
and lock for tampering?
And I will just do a general criminology look around the warehouse.
15. Electronic security tick.
Yeah, it looks pretty tampered to you. It looks very tampered, in fact.
There have definitely been people playing around with this. Can I identify? Like, does it look like a bunch of really old tampering, or some might be recent?
Pretty new.
15,
Yeah, this was probably them.
15 on criminology.
Well, I mean, this is a dock front. You're not going to get anything. Maybe if you were fresh on the scene right after something happened. But it's rained since then. Acid rain.
One thing I will ask, although there is a potential that if there's cargo here, it might be covered. Although if they're smart, they wouldn't do that. In the previous warehouse, there was a sewer grate. Does this have anything similar?
Well, you're not inside, so you don't know.
Oh, we're not inside warehouse.
No, he hasn't.
No.
No one's opened
I
anything.
was still
Oh,
looking
okay.
at the lock.
That's cool.
Right, if you wouldn't mind letting us in, we'll continue the search.
Here you go.
My thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you, Biscuit.
Is that your real name?
Of course it is. Is your name really John Barrows?
I didn't have a name.
Wow.
The cop with no name. Let's walk into this.
I am the cop with no name, John Barrows.
Well, he had a name in those movies too.
Well, you're inside a warehouse. What do you want?
We'll start looking.
Yeah.
Alright, you spend an hour. You don't find anything.
18 criminology.
You don't find anything.
Not even the missing MREs
Nope.
stashed up anywhere.
Nope.
So they don't. Do they have one of those sewer grates inside?
Nope.
Okay. Damn. Well, yeah. My theory was that I just opened that up and then shoved them down inside.
I'm not really sure what we expected to find here, but we did manage to confirm this is likely where they got in from the lock. And they absolutely replaced the MREs at some point in this warehouse.
To have got rid of them somewhere.
Maybe they just threw them overboard.
What's the matter?
I'm annoyed.
Why?
Thought you would find something.
Well, I mean, John did find that they got in through here, tampered with the. But unfortunately, with the security cameras down for a month. What else?
All the other cameras along the dock front that were down, they were only down at the time, not for a whole month, right?
Yes.
Maybe we need to speak to dock security. That one could be trickier. If we can find what brought it down, we might get a lead. Or at least know what to expect.
Oh, shit, it just occurred to me too. If they came in a van or something, they could have easily just loaded the food into the van they came in, just taken off with it.